Here we have another case of somebody famous complaining about the contract that they signed for the money that they were paid. $3 million. That's what Joy Reid got for her time over at MSNBC. And she's complaining about it, saying, well, I got this much, but that person got that much. Even though she signed the papers, she agreed to get paid. But let's get this reporting from The Root. You won't believe what Joy Reid says she got paid in comparison to her MSNBC colleagues. It's been months since journalist and show host Joy Ann Reid was fired from MSNBC, which was recently renamed to MS Now. Still, she's speaking out about her time at the network and the hardships she had to face, especially as one of the few black anchors on air. But a shocking reveal about how much Reid was allegedly paid for her hit show could stir some trouble. She has the opportunity now to build up a platform for herself, saying whatever it is that she wants, no showrunners, essentially no censorship. There is censorship if she's going to build it up on YouTube. But you have the opportunity to take the show in whichever direction that you want to take it, cover the stories that you want, whatever it is. And the pay is going to be proportionate to the amount of work that you put in, the amount of people that want to come and hear your opinion. But for whatever reason, you're still complaining about your time over at MSNBC and talking about how bad it was. It can't be bad and you still wanted to be there. It doesn't make sense. Reid was the keynote speaker during the recent Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival's C-Suite soiree. According to People, she spoke about the plight of being a black woman at the top of the journalism industry. The curse of competency means you're the best person at what you do. You know more than anyone else because you've had to do more work and more research to get where you are, and so, therefore, you're the one everybody calls. Her show Reid Out was canceled by the network after nearly 5 years on air. At this time, MSNBC claimed it was due to significant drop in viewership after the 2024 election we previously reported. So if you didn't know, after the 2020 election, they claimed that the views were dropping. People weren't as interested. Trump is coming into office and he really wanted to do a push to get rid of DEI. He didn't really see the need for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then all of these firings started to happen at MSNBC. It wasn't just Joy Reid. What they claimed was, or the anchors that were on, it was people of color, right? Like Rachel Maddow is still on MSNBC. She still has her show. She does phenomenal numbers. But what Joy Reid and other people of color have claimed is, they dropped us because of the color of our skin. I don't necessarily know if that's true or not, right? I didn't watch MSNBC, but this is her claim that she was dropped because of her race after the election, even though she was receiving high ratings. It says, I worked in a business where I was paid a tenth of the salary of people who did literally my same job the whole time I worked there. And we knew that any man that was doing what I was doing was going to make more than me. And they were going to be able to negotiate higher salaries, even at lower ratings. When people come out and say stuff like this, I'm not necessarily disagreeing that there are differences in what people are paid, right? For example, if you watch streaming, white streamers are going to make a lot more than the most popular black streamers. It just is what it is, right? There's more white people. They're going to align and relate and get the jokes and share similar culture with other white people. Now, when they talk about stuff like this, I don't necessarily look at it from a man and woman standpoint. Are there going to be some disparities there? Absolutely. I'm not a woman. I've never had to negotiate a contract as a woman or anything like that. So I'm not going to necessarily discount what it is that she's saying. Like, she gets paid less because she's a woman. Okay. The issue is when you go to sign the contract, instead of negotiating for better and more favorable terms. This is the same thing that I said with the WNBA. You complain about what you're being paid after you signed the contract, knowing full well what you actually wanted. You sign a contract saying you get paid a tenth of what your counterparts make and you do a better job than them. If you have all of that leverage, if you produce as much as you say that you produce, if you're as valuable to the organization as you say that you are, then you go back in that room and you tell them, hey, the number that you guys gave me, it's a good number and all of that, but I can't really do it for that number based on this, and this. If you have the cachet from being the most researched, the best well-spoken, the most well-spoken, the most articulate, the best ideas, the best takes, if you have the cachet that you're claiming to have, and I don't know that you do or not. I don't watch Joy Reid. I don't watch these traditional shows like this. I don't know if this is on TV, on YouTube. I don't watch this. But if you're saying that you have the cachet to demand the numbers that you want, then go demand them or go somewhere else to pull in the ratings. So when you get up here and complain about the contract that you signed and the results that you're getting based on the contract that you signed, that you agreed to, I got to look at you and say, you really might be lying about how good you are, or you wanted to take the quick way out, the easy way out, and you just wanted to get a check at any cost. And for me personally, being personally accountable for your decisions is highly important, right? So it was your decision to take that money. Now that the gravy train has ended, you're like, man, but you see what they was doing. They was discriminating against me. The people that gave you the show. For 5 years, you had this show. If you're telling me that you didn't complain for 5 years, you didn't negotiate a contract for 5 years, I got to look at you and say, are you bad at business or are you being disingenuous about the decisions that you made? A Newsweek article reported that Reid was paid $3 million each year for hosting her show, but things changed in 2024 when she and other anchors were given pay cuts to save money for the network. Rachel Maddow, host of the Rachel Maddow Show on the network, on the other hand, raked in nearly $30 million for her show. Although Maddow's show has been on air for 17 seasons to her 5 seasons, Reid remained one of the most high-profile women on the network, especially in light of Trump's attack on the press and to DEI. Only 6% of journalists in America are Black, according to Pew Research. And just as it's a well-known fact that Black women are paid less than their white counterparts or male peers, Reid's case emphasizes a clear problem. So you're telling me that you're the best that ever did it on the network, and then they give us a clear example of somebody that's doing it a little better. Somebody that's been there for 17 seasons, you've been there for 5 years. I would say that, at least in that part, you significantly underperform. If that person has been around with MSNBC for so long, they've become an integral part of that network. They become an integral part of that network where they can demand, hey, I look to be the face of your network. I should be getting a little more money, or I could walk away. They have leverage. With your 5 years, you may have leverage, but did you negotiate for what it is that you want? Or did you take the first deal that they put on the table and you said, okay, I'll take it. I need the money, only to later come back and be disgruntled after you got fired? It's something to look at, man. It says they have a sort of presumption of brilliance, the Elon Musk presumption. There, where people are like, you look like a genius, you must be a genius. And they're not. She said of white men, they work less hours and make more than us, get bigger raises, more opportunities, and more grace. This is the world we live in. This isn't the first time Reid has called out the Tesla and X CEO. In fact, her sharp criticism of Musk and Donald Trump played a role in the cancellation of her show, she previously stated. After being fired, the journalist says she remains thankful. I'm not sorry that I stood up for those things because those things are of God, she said in a tearful video to fans. But in the end, where I really land and where I've landed on today is just gratitude. Let me say this. It's not lost on me the fact that white people relate more to white people. It is what it is. This is the world we live in. Is it fair? It's not. Unless you're going to put your foot down and say, yo, you guys are mistreating me in a way that these other people, whoever they may be, are not being mistreated. If you're not going to say that, then don't come to the internet. Don't come to the rest of the Black community to cry and complain about it. Because you were complicit in it while you were winning from that same system. When you stopped winning from it, you started crying about it. And I just can't co-sign that. I really can't.